on this Tuesday evening. Yes, yes, yes. For the Gautengers, I think there may be rain in store. Whoop, whoop. We need it. We need it. So tonight, I've got a very special guest with me. She did a very brave thing. She decided to just up and motor to another country, and we are going to discuss how that was for her and her family. So welcome, Justine.
Hello, Ruthie. Long time, 1 year.
Ooh, I can't fit. Yes, a year's gone by, and this year's like freak. But anyway, so yeah, so okay, so find out where you grew up because there is an accent.
So I grew up in South Africa in a little area called Edenvale. And yeah, I've always been extremely in love with South Africa. We grew up going to Pilanesberg and Kruger National Park, and my parents, I was very blessed. They gave us a lot of amazing holidays, and we got to experience South Africa and be, Gauteng and Durban and Cape Town, and typical girl growing up in Edenvale, hanging out there with my family.
Okay, awesome. Okay, do me one favor. We're getting a bit of feed. Try and put the phone on a book or something, or steady the phone for me a little bit, because when you move it, it does like the mic picks up a bit of a rustle. So I don't know if it's very windy where you are, but you look amazing. No, it's all part of the thing. There we go. Is that cool? Yay! But you're looking so hands-free. There we go, hands-free. So yeah, you're looking fantastic. I think this move could not. I mean, I was nervous for you when you said you were leaving, but yeah. So let's talk about. How did you decide you love South Africa, but now okay, tell me about yourself. You married, your kids. Okay, so go for it.
So I've been married now, will be coming on to 7 years, and I have two beautiful children. They are now 5 and 2. And as I said, I've always been very much a homebody, very close to my parents, very close to my brother. And growing up in South Africa was amazing, and we were very blessed to be able to explore. But last year, so 2019, my husband and I, we were in Johannesburg. We both grew up in Johannesburg, and we moved to Pretoria, where we met you.
Yes.
And we were there for 2 years, and the community welcomed us, and we were very happy, but there was always something missing. We didn't feel like we were stable. We never felt that this was going to be our future. We felt for now this was good, but where are we going to be in a few years? And we were actually one random Saturday, we were chatting to some friends of ours, and they were going on and on about, you guys would love Israel. They are originally from Israel, but they were living in South Africa doing a work program. And they kept saying to us, Yossi, that's my husband, you would love Israel, and Justine, you would thrive there, and your kids. And we kind of just, shoot it off and went, cool, guys. But after that Saturday night, my husband and I did not say a word to each other. We just kept walking past each other, smiling, very awkward. And by Sunday, we were like, what is going on? Why are you avoiding me? What's going through your mind? And we both opened up that our gut was telling us, both of us, that Israel was the move. And the next day we opened a file. When you immigrate to Israel, it's called Aliyah. It's called making Aliyah. And there's a lot of help for Jewish people. There's a lot of amazing support, and they kind of want to get you to Israel. So we opened our file, and we moved a few months later. I think it was 6 months later. We packed up 10 suitcases, and that was it. And we moved to Israel and been here a year and a few weeks, and I don't think we've ever been happier.
Okay. And did you sort of struggle? I mean, you say it like so blasé now, but I think at the time you were like so nervous. And I remember you were like, oh, I've got to see my parents. And I mean, who still lives there? Your parents and your brother?
Correct. So
and Yossi's whole family.
Correct. So it's my mom and dad and my brother and his girlfriend. They're all in South Africa. And obviously, I've still got a grandfather who's 88 this year. He still lives there. Aunts and uncles, Yossi's parents also, both in South Africa. He's got one brother in South Africa, but another one in America. So I never thought the day would come in my life where I would leave my parents and not give them the opportunity to be a part of my children's lives.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, like, we both had this gut feeling that we had to do it. And when I actually, funny enough, we both said we have to speak to our parents. And the blessings that I got from my mom and dad just saying, do it, you've got to do this. And it was insane. It felt so good. So we packed up, and it's hard, obviously. I'm not saying it's easy. And now it is a little bit blasé, but in that moment, we were both on the same page, my husband and I, from the second we made the decision. And because of that, it made everything smoother. It kind of made the whole process a little bit more of an adventure than a stress. And of course, I was nervous. I remember sitting with you and talking about, am I crazy? Is this what I'm doing? How are we going to thrive there? How are we going to survive? But like I said, you know, it's all part of the adventure.
Just lift your phone up again. Let's try this again. Maybe hold it again. I don't know. It sounds like the wind. Have you got lots of windows open? Are you wearing your zippy dress?
It's a zebra cushion.
Oh, is it a zebra cushion? I thought it was part of your dress.
Had to have some South Africa with me.
Okay, awesome.
It is extremely hot in Israel, so my husband has just turned off the fan. So maybe that.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, joking atheist. Yes. The fan was making the noise. Okay, we're going to keep this not too long.
It's really hot.
Like we're standing on the deck of a ship. Something's going whoosh, 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 whoosh. I see a new face. Maybe someone you know, Daniel Hertzberg. Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the show.
Israel. Hi, Dan.
How's it? Okay, cool. Hello, Gentle. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Count. Yes, so now the noise is finally okay. So you pack your bags, you're all nervous, the kids. I mean, so your youngest was 1 and
Aaron is our youngest here. He was 15 months.
Sure. And how did the airplane trip go? Like, did he sleep through? Was it hectic?
We had miracles from the second we arrived at the airport. We basically, when you make Aliyah, they kind of book your flight for you. They book your flight, they give you your tickets, and you don't really get a choice of where you're going to sit. Now, we assumed that we had a baby, that we would be put in the front of the airplane. Right. But you have to pay extra, and we kind of just went, you know what? It's a long flight, let's not stress. And this lady had seen me, you know, and I was emotional from saying goodbye to my parents.
Yeah, in fact, I want to cry.
I was out, and the lady saw me and she said, "Excuse me," and I said, "Yes," and she said, "Come here, move, come, you're sitting in the front," and she gave up her front row. She then organized. Now, if your child is only up to the age of 1 years old, you get a little like bassinet that hooks up. Right. Because Jack was 15 months, we never got that. But miracle, she arranged it for us. He slept through the entire flight. I didn't sleep. Yossi and I, we were like half in, half out. Jaden, my oldest at the time, was 4, and he slept quite a bit, and it was pleasant. The flight was pleasant. You know, when you immigrate into this country of Israel, the people on the flight are so excited and welcome. And so for us, it was a good start. It was really we kind of like took a big deep breath, and we thought, okay, first miracle. The plane, which we had actually dreaded this plane ride. It turned out good.
Okay. I think maybe that's the attitude to have. I think if you expect it's all going to be smooth sailing, I think that's where you're going to bump your head. I think sometimes, look, I'm not saying don't be positive, but I think if you have unrealistic expectations, maybe that's something to think about. I mean, look, the reason I decided to discuss this is because there are a lot of people here now really turning the coin and wondering what they should do. And I'm not saying do it. I'm not. And look, a lot of people can't go anywhere. A lot of people are stuck here. You and I have the option. And I'm still pondering. I'm thinking, well, I've got a job, thank God. Nate's still at school. Maybe I should wait till he's finished school, or maybe I should just send him. I don't. We'll see. We'll see. But the thing is that I think people always have choices, and I think you have to try. You have to, even if you think, oh, you don't have millions in the bank, or I mean, yes, I know Israel is a basket in our case, but there are other countries who I'm sure have the need for expertise. If you don't try, if you don't ask, you can never know. And it's amazing. I was listening to some stats, I think, on the Cliff Central show, that a lot of people are actually immigrating from Canada and America, and they're moving, which is like, okay, well, maybe America, yeah, that what's been happening there is crazy. I don't know. I mean, how's lockdown been in Israel?
So look, we had our first lockdown, I think it was in February, March,
Mm,
and that's about 2 months of lockdown. The thing is that you've got to remember in Israel, a lot of people, not everyone, but especially in Haifa, you don't really get your houses with a big garden and a closed off street. Most people are in apartments, which means that if you have a dog, you kind of have to walk your dog. So a lot of people have those kind of, you get the restrictions, but you still allowed to walk your dog, or you, because a lot of people travel by bus, you still allowed to go on the bus to the grocery store. And
mm,
so lockdown's been very up and down. We're
mm,
very lucky that we've been able to kind of walk to the park or go downstairs or walk my dog, just to get out of the house, because being with kids in one small apartment is just not going to work. But it's been very up and down. There's been a fortune of protests, which has made our numbers rise drastically. On the other hand, there's been a lot of people wear the mask on the chin. I mean, we all do it. People don't believe in the mask. People forget the rules, and it's been very up and down. But at the end of
mm,
the day, it's affecting businesses, and
mm.
Israel has one of the lowest unemployment rates, and now the unemployment rate has gone up, which is just so heartbreaking. Like,
Yeah, I
especially now,
remember. Yeah,
we now
I think.
small shops have been
Mm,
closed.
yeah, and well, you don't. I mean, 3 million people here in South Africa have lost their jobs, and there were only
Yeah.
about 4 million, 5, 6. I don't quote me. I mean, 6, 7. I don't know what their initial stats were, but I think it's like literally half, if not a third. I've got a question here from the joking atheist. He says, first week in Israel, were there moments that you said to yourself, "Oh, that's different to SA"? What were those things?
Every single moment was, oh my God, this is so different. The first day we got into from the airport, they put us in like a taxi with our 10 suitcases, and the Israeli driver dropped us off, and he kind of went, okay, bye. Like, I was like, okay, bye. So we get out, and we meeting someone to give us the keys for this temporary apartment. But then I'm standing on the street waiting for her, and there are a million children ages 6 and up riding their bikes, free, doing whatever they want. And I said to my husband, we've made the right decision. That for me was like the big eye opener, that this was the right decision. Another funny story that was also so different. I mean, I personally haven't experienced this in South Africa, but there was a little pizza store near where we were staying, and I walked there and I went to get a pizza, and the guy heard my accent and he went, A4, A4, which means where are you from? And he doesn't speak any English. And his name was Yossi as well. And I tried my little bit of Hebrew to explain to him that we are Lim Chadashim, which means new or Lim. We've just made Aliyah. And he invited us for 2 Friday nights for a Shabbat in a row. He's never met us. He welcomed us, a family of 4, into his home for 2 Friday nights. His wife cooked an amazing meal. And the sense of like this welcome, like I felt so welcome. Still to this day, we felt very welcome. Other moments, what the hell have I done? Oh my gosh, are we crazy? Why is there, you know, it's just all these crazy moments, but it's very different to South Africa, 1000% different.
Okay, so everything. So the technology. I know you've also started a YouTube channel about traveling. You're going to talk about traveling, how to get around in Israel. Is it just in Haifa or is it Israel in general?
No, so basically the YouTube channel, when we made Aliyah, a lot of people were asking me information. A lot of people reached out to me and said, like, wow, you seem so happy, and how did you do it? And I decided that I don't want to come off as everything's been peaches and cream for us, because it hasn't. We've had our challenges, but I kind of also want to prepare people. When we first moved here and someone told me that you get around by bus, oh, cool. No, you have to download this app and you have to get this little rough cub and you've got to do this and that. I was like so overwhelmed. But I feel that by doing a YouTube channel of helping people, it might just give people a little bit more of like a deep breath that they can do it, and maybe a bit more, trying to think of the word, like they'll feel a bit more associated with what's going on. You know, when we came here, we knew nothing, like nothing. We have cousins. Daniel Hertzberg happens to be there. Hi, Dan. But there's only so much that people can guide you. You have to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
So the YouTube channel is also just about attitude, how much myself I have grown in this year. I suffer very badly with anxiety and depression. And I thought that coming into Israel would knock me negatively. It's done the opposite. My energy, my anxiety, my depression, it's all just, it's not gone, definitely not. But it's just more maintained here. It's just more manageable. And it's just, in South Africa, if I needed to get out of the house for a few minutes, I'd have to get in the car, then message my husband to tell him, oh, well, I'm driving at night and I'll be back in 5 minutes. Here I say to him, I'm coming now, I'm going for a walk. 11 o'clock at night, I'm a woman, walking, no fear, go to a friend. It's a different way of life. And it kind of, yeah, that's the channel's kind of there just to guide people and let them know fears are real. There is no such thing as not being fearful. But let's handle it. Let's get through it. That's what it's there for.
Yes, and I think South Africans, I mean, we were driving around this weekend and a car, we were indicating we were turning left and they turned before, and the passenger literally like was aggressive, let's just say that. And I don't know if they were drunk, and I said to my boyfriend, okay, give them gap, like let them go first. But the truth is, I think South Africans are very, just TG, South Africans are very, we were very anxious and fearful and angry because we've had a lot of, excuse my French, shit happen to us. Now we, okay, we've discovered something. Should I plug it in? We realized something's not plugged in, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So am I loud enough? Okay, fine. Sorry. So I realized that people were angry and traumatized. I think a lot of people in South Africa have PTSD, and I don't think a lot of people deal with it or know how to deal with it. They just carry on plundering. They just take each day and day, and we're so stressed in our daily lives because not only do we have to worry about our work and things, but we constantly have to be worried about, if I take my phone out in a shop, who's going to grab my phone, who's going to do these things, are we going to get attacked in our homes, are we going to get robbed? And I think going to some place where you don't have that additional stress to worry about is just
And I'm not, I put a few days on Facebook a few days ago. I had seen a video that went viral of this little 4-year-old that was at a cafe with his mom, and someone tried to kidnap, or we don't know the full story, but
yeah, I know, we know what happened. Yeah.
So it shook me to my core, and I put it on Facebook, and I got an amazing amount of comments, but there was a few people that were saying, like, don't knock South Africa, stop being negative about South Africa. I want to clarify one thing. I'm not saying that Israel is perfect. I'm not saying that Australia is perfect, that Canada, America, I'm not saying any of that's perfect. But from my personal experience as a 33-year-old woman, being able to walk at 11 o'clock at night on a dark street in a dress, with my bag, with my cell phone, with money, with my rings on. You cannot describe that feeling to people. And that's kind of, like you say, that weight of, is my husband going to come home when he drives home at 7 o'clock at night? Am I going to be hijacked? Where is my bag? That fear I do not feel. Yes, there's bombs and there's people that don't like us. You're going to get there wherever you are. But you are. I mean, my next door neighbor could hate me and put a bomb in my house, God forbid. But it's, no matter where you are, the way that we were feeling in South Africa, that feeling when I would come home and it had just gotten dark, and I just like messaged my husband. Sometimes I had to message my parents because they knew that I was leaving Joburg. I had to drive to Pretoria, message when you're home. I remember like coming home often in Pretoria and like kissing my kids like an extra 10 times because I couldn't believe that I actually made it through that traffic light that scared me. And I don't feel that here. And my children have a freedom when we go to the park. My children are swinging without me sitting there going, make sure you don't this. Let me see where you are. Oh my God, where's Jada? You know, and it's obviously I look. I'm not naive. I still look. I make sure they don't cross the road without me. But it's you can't describe that feeling.
So I've got a Gentle Inflatables is asking the schools, because I know there's a huge thing. So I know that schools are not paid for when children go to primary school, but preschool you still have to pay for schools. But what is the difference that you had a private school that you sent the kids to, but are they helpful at the schools? Are they welcoming? Is there, like, with the language?
I'm not amazing with the education system, but basically the public schools education system here is as good as the private system. You can't even compare. The only difference is the payment. Now, from the age of 3, your child is free. You don't pay. You pay for a few extra, like I think for Jaden, we had to pay for maybe 1 or 2 outings. Obviously, your books, if you want extramurals, but you do not pay monthly school fees. It is the biggest, most incredible blessing. The schools are great. Our son Jaden will be going to grade 1, Kita Aleph, next year, and it's a highly recommended, amazing public school that we don't have to pay. Now, the only downfall is that from before the age of 3, they have like daycares, but they're very private and they cost a lot. So we made the choice that, we decided that my son, my baby Jaron, will be at home with us. And I work part-time. My husband is building his business. Luckily, he can build it from home. And so it worked out for us. A lot of people don't have that luxury, but they'll work full-time and send their kid to a private daycare. So it also depends on people's lives, people's kind of what their priorities are. It depends on many different factors. For us, it works really well having my son be, who's not 3 yet, at home with us.
Okay, brilliant. So I'm just checking the comments. There's a very interesting name, and I think this person changed their name recently, but that's all good. I just want to go up here. Oh wait, hello, I've got the mouse. Let's see. Oh no, the mouse is also not plugged in. Oh dear. Hold on. Okay, the schools. Cat, hello. To fear change is to fear growth. That's from our very wise joking atheist. Yeah, and then yeah, so Gentle Inflatables would say, okay, cost 2,000 Rand, 3,000 Rand. Like, how do you compare, like, money wise, I suppose?
The hardest thing is not converting. It sucks because when you come from South Africa, it's at the moment, it's 1 shekel is 5 Rand. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
No.
It's right.
1 shekel is 5 Rand. So daycare before the age of 3, don't quote me on this, but varies from about 2,100 shekels to 3,500 shekels. Now, if you convert that 10,000 Rand,
it's like, yeah, it's crazy.
But you've got to think about it. If you're going to get a full-time job where you're earning 6,000-7,000 shekels minimum, you can kind of afford that.
Yeah.
But it also depends on how many kids you've got. It depends on your partner, if they're able to help you. Every circumstance is different. That's one thing I've noticed. We've made so many amazing friends. The one friend, the guy doesn't work and the woman is the breadwinner. The other family, she works half day. Her husband works till late at night. So it all depends on your circumstances. And like Yossi and I have had to make it work because we are quite stubborn in the fact that he especially wants to keep his business. He's not willing to, he's been building this business for 18 years. And in Israel, he's thriving. Whereas in South Africa, he was stuck. And I'm going to support and stand by him. And at the same time, while he's building his business, I'm doing a few side jobs.
Yeah.
English too. And it works. For us, it really works like beautifully.
Okay, brilliant, brilliant. I see also another family member, Sasha Hertzberg. Hello, how's it? Hello, Sasha.
She's amazing. Sasha, big shout out to you. She is gorgeous, and my kids love her more than anything. They made Aliyah when they were teenagers. So for them, it's been a very different experience. They moved when Sasha was, I think, 10 and Daniel was, I think, 16. And it was very different for them because they were thrown into kind of the deep end, whereas my kids don't know what's going on. They get to go to the beach and they're so happy.
I see your photos on Facebook and I go, oh my gosh, it looks like paradise. It actually looks like paradise, like really.
It's very different. I can't speak from if I had an older child who made Aliyah. We've got another very close friends, and they moved, I think, a year ago, and I think their daughter and son are 15 and 16, and they're loving it. They're thriving. But circumstance and attitude. I believe the sooner you can bring your kids, the better, just because I'm seeing Jaden and Jaron, how they are just adapting. Like Jaden is living his best life. He goes to the beach once a week. He watches daddy surf. He goes to the park every day. Last night he was rollerblading like up and down the street. Like the kids are living quite a cool life. But for a teenager, it's much harder. You're throwing them in and you're saying, learn this language, leave all your friends behind that you've already made for 10, 13 years, blah. But it's attitude, it's circumstance.
Well, I think with technology, I think things are easier. I mean, if I look at my son's quality of life now, he's basically bound to his room, his PlayStation. He does not, sorry, I'm being told to shift over. He does not have the life that we had as kids. I was riding my bicycle every day. I was not okay, there was always the fear. My mother always used to say, don't talk to strangers, be careful. But he knows he doesn't walk to the shop by himself. He doesn't, not because I wouldn't let him. It's just not like we're going to the shop. Okay, he'll come with, it's a different life. We all, I suppose we lucky that Kat saying, Haifa toda, because Sasha and Kat are striking up a conversation in the comments. So I think it's also like my son doesn't know what it's like to be free and on the streets and skateboarding and riding bicycles and going on hikes every other weekend. And I think Israel is such an active place. I mean, even my cousin in Durban said to me, Ruthie, you've got to move down here because life's just active. And I think in the cities, kids are more confined, I think unless, Cape Town, I don't know what Cape Town's like. But excuse me, it's been a long day at the office. A lot of there's just not. Yes, there is stuff you can do, but you always have to worry. Like I know that we've got the amazing Fort Klaperkoop Preserve nearby, but you can't go there because you're terrified of people attacking you and stealing your stuff. I mean, 20 years ago, that wasn't 25, 30 years ago, that wasn't even an issue. Now it is. So, okay. So I'm glad I spoke to you. I'm a little bit more convinced. I'm trying to put a game plan. My game plan for my little one is obviously finish school and then maybe send him like to the army. Maybe we'll see.
Nate would love the army. Nate's such a spiritual person, and I think one thing that you find when you come to Israel specifically, your spiritual side comes out in the most amazing way. You feel so connected. And it's not like, it doesn't matter if you're religious or not religious. You are so connected. It's
Mm,
just you feel like your feet have
mm,
touched home. It's the
mm.
weirdest feeling. Like, it's
When
amazing.
the year before Nate was born, I went on a birthright tour, and I remember going out of the hotel onto the roof, and I can't actually believe I haven't been back since then. Yeah, it's so weird how it's almost like a dream. Like you feel so connected when you're there. It's like, I suppose, when people go to the ocean, they feel so connected. They never want to leave. They want to come back. They want to stay. And then as soon as you spend weeks away from it, you kind of forget the I don't want to say majesty, but the sheer essence
Majestic.
of, yes, majestic. What's the plural? The majesty, the magic of the place. Yeah. Kat, what are you saying about the first place I ate Burger King? Not in Haifa, surely. Oh, wait, we got a question. Again, joking atheist, full of questions. Perhaps Justine can clarify. I heard that there is no KFC in Israel, and if so, why not? Well, there is McDonald's. There is a KFC.
It's
And
okay if
of course
there
there's
is.
a KFC.
I'm not sure where because I do not eat KFC, but there's definitely a KFC. There's KFC, there's McDonald's, there is Burger King, there is Reuben's. I don't know Reuben's, but apparently it's quite famous that they've just brought Reuben's. There's
Yeah.
Domino's Pizza. There's a lot of. You're not short for fast food here. That's
Yes,
for
no,
sure.
I remember when on the birthright tour we went to a mall and there was like a McDonald's, KFC, Burger King. No, they were there and they're all kosher. It's like weird.
It's the craziest thing. Like, that's something like in South Africa, there's maybe one or two kosher restaurants.
Yeah.
In Israel, it's quite rare to find a place that isn't. And there are some that are kosher, and maybe they open on Shabbat, but it's amazing that you can just kind of walk past and say, "Oh, I'm hungry. I'm going for a quick shawarma."
I still think the Shuk is a flea market type place. And I mean, I know you and Yossi are very strict and you only eat fresh. You don't eat anything preservative. I still salute you. I still try that. I now buy all my fresh produce from an organic supplier. So whoop whoop, we tried that this year.
I'm 50. Woo!
Whoop, whoop. So yeah, and how have you found that, like adapting, like easy? Like you go to the Shuk, is there
So we actually don't go to the shuk just because, I mean, this is probably going to get a million comments about the controversy, but smoking for me is, I'm an ex-smoker, but in Israel, because we now living this outdoor life, we are exposed to cigarette smoke so much, and it's caused effect on me and my family. Like my children they've actually like struggled to breathe sometimes. It's a problem. I don't know if it will ever be fixed in Israel. If there's one thing that I could pinpoint about Israel that I hate with every fiber of me, it's the smoking to the extent where they just don't care. Like they smoking, right by the bus stop, and my little 2-year-old's walking past. But we kind of avoid going to the shuk. Just, I think when we came, like we didn't go, and then it was Corona, and I'm definitely not going to the shuk during Corona. There's an amazing health shop, which I will comment if anyone in Israel wants to know. It's called Nitzata Duvdevan, which is the cherry blossom. And it is
repeat that. Wait, say that again.
Nitzat Haduvdevan.
Dava. And that is a what? That is a
blossom. That's what it translates to. Duvdevan is cherry. And that is the health shop. And there's a few different ones. And it's just amazing. Like everything there is organic, and it's just like anything we've struggled that we thought we might not get, that we were so used to in South Africa. Coconut oil, organic raw honey. Those are things that were a staple in our diet. I even brought coconut oil and raw honey in my 10 suitcases. That's how scared we were that we weren't going to find it. And I know one bus ride, and I'm at this health shop. They all know me by name. There's 2 guys there that speak fluent English, so anytime I need help, they there. And so we managed with that. And also Israel, it's kind of, there's a lot of people that want to be healthy because of the lifestyle. It's such a Barbie active lifestyle. So it's very common here. I mean, there's fresh fruit smoothie, like little kiosks on the beach promenade. Every second store is a little like fresh fruit smoothie kiosk. It's like my favorite thing to do. So being healthy here has been amazing, especially with the walking. Like, oh my God, I walk everywhere. It's amazing.
But yeah, but let's not go back to heat. Someone's also asking about alcohol. So obviously I think it depends which part of Israel you're in. Obviously being in a, like Justine's in a very Israeli part of Israel, not an Arab part of Israel. So obviously there is alcohol available in restaurants, of course. Yeah.
So there's bars in Haifa. There's a few bars in like the main area. There's downtown where there's a few bars, and there's a lot of liquor stores. So yeah, I mean, I don't drink that much, but
that odd cocktail.
I've got a bottle of Bartonura in my fridge right now. But yeah, so no, alcohol is an issue. It's not a problem at all. Please, the lot of the Jewish people, they love to drink their whiskey.
Of course. It's like l'chaim, duh.
It's like totally.
In fact, I think TG guy's never been so for schnicker. What's it? Shicker at like any celebration besides the Jewish one in his whole life.
Except my husband. My husband does not drink at all. Not even at our.
He's a purist, your husband. He is like going straight to like Olamaba. Like he's incredible. Yeah, so yeah, I think oh yes, Hannes. Hello, Hannes de Kock, how are you doing? Oh yes, he says he was can you braai in Israel?
Let me tell you. Oh my gosh. So we have missed the braai, like you don't even understand. We actually on Rosh Hashanah, I think it was second day or whatever, a friend of ours brought, those disposable braais that like it. And my husband and I were just like smiling and nodding, and we were like, oh my God, we actually had to get rid of our beautiful, amazing gas grill braai that we got for a wedding present. And we have said the next thing we spend money on is a good braai. And when you tell people braai in Israel, they look at you and they're like, mazeh? Mazeh? What's this? Mazeh?
No, what do they call barbecue?
Barbecue. But the meat, we miss a good South African braai in the bush. Like we can't even tell you. My husband says all the time, he's like, that would be nice. Sitting at the Kruger with a good braai, a good wood braai. Like a real wood.
Yeah. Oh. Well, when hopefully this whole lockdown thing and the world stops having its head up its arse, then you'll come visit, hopefully. And then, in a few years' time, maybe not so now, because now, I mean, it's only been your first year. So I keep seeing there's a repeat question. So the joking atheist is a fan, but he likes to throw a spanner in the works every now and again. So he's asking, can an atheist move to Israel?
Absolutely. No, I'm serious. One thing that I was personally very surprised about, when I've been on, like you, Ruthie, you went on a birthright tour. I went on a women's tour 2 years ago. And obviously they focused around the Judaism. They take us to the places that are focused on Judaism. We came to Haifa, which is the most diverse, amazing city. Mm-hmm. We have neighbors that are Muslim, Arab, colored. We have friends that don't keep kosher, that don't believe in anything, that are atheists. So I don't know. There's obviously certain cities that you can't. You're not going to be able to go to a religious city and say, oh, I'm an atheist. They'll probably stone you. But in Haifa, and trying to think, Tel Aviv, Haifa, places like that, it's open-mindedness. When there's a Jewish holiday, there's got to be a sort of respect.
Yeah.
There's got to be respect that you're in a country where Judaism is loved. But no, you can be an atheist, you can be a gay, you can be anything you want here. Like it's
Yeah.
it's
Well,
beautiful.
the biggest gay march is in Tel Aviv in July. I think I once watched the video of they show this march go on for I think 2 or 3 days, and it just doesn't stop. They're just people.
I have friends that are not gay, that are religious, and love this gay parade. We unfortunately this year they didn't do it because of
No.
Corona.
Yeah.
I think last year, who was here? There was someone famous who came to join the gay parade, and it was like huge. There's so many celebrities that love to come to Israel. They love it. Like J Lo
I,
was here. Who
yeah.
was here?
Quentin Tarantino actually lives in Israel.
Are you serious?
He has a home in Israel. He lives
Wow.
there. I heard that. I saw that the other day, and I was like, "Wow, okay." But look,
And Crush lives in Israel. She's born and bred in Israel. Her name is Gal Gadot, and she's
yes,
amazing.
Gal Gadot, of course, Wonder Woman.
She's a purebred Israeli. So
Yes, Sabra. Yeah, and she's gorgeous. She's actually gorgeous. Did you know that Natalie Portman is also half Israeli?
I
Yes,
did. She
and
studied her in no, she went to Harvard or something, but no, I don't know. But she was talking about how she grew up in Jerusalem. It's
yeah,
like that's my neighbor city kind of thing. It's
yeah,
amazing. One background where Natalie Portman grew up kind of thing.
yeah. How's it, Carl? I don't know what's such a shock to what's such a shock, Judge Doom's jury of sin. These names, it's crazy. Never mind. That was
That's
the anyway. No, it's inside joke, inside joke. Okay, so what else did I wanted to ask you? Okay, language. Okay, what happens with when you the Ulpan program?
okay.
So
So there's two ways to go about it. You can do Ulpan. Ulpan is basically quite a intense Hebrew learning course. When you get to Israel, you study Hebrew, you go to like classes. I think it's like 4 or 5 hours in the day, and it's quite intense. We chose not to do it, especially having at that time a 50-month-old. Like, there's
yeah,
no way.
yeah,
And for us, we heard a lot of very different things. Some people say Ulpan saved them. Some people say it's the biggest waste of time. Now, my husband is not the greatest with language in general. So we knew for him it'd be a waste of time. And he much rather wanted to focus on building up his business, which is much more important. He's a personal trainer. He's a core fitness specialist that can do online. He doesn't need Hebrew per se. His target market is not Hebrew and Israeli. So with me, I remembered a little bit of Hebrew from school, but also I teach myself every day. I listen to people, and I have no scam, which I don't know what that would mean in Hebrew, but I I ask everything. When I'm standing at the shops, I go, Shalom, midaberet Anglit, which means, do you speak English? And I ask them, excuse me, where do I go? How do I get there? Do you speak English? I'm looking for this. How do I say this? And I've literally learned to kind of mess up, but teach myself. And I love it. I love how my students, I teach English to a few kids, and my 10-year-old boy, he doesn't speak. He's like the quietest kid. But when I make a mistake with Hebrew, he will correct me in a heartbeat. He goes, and I'm like, sorry. So I'm learning, and it's the best feeling to kind of learn without that pressure. You get by. The whole of Israel, there's a majority speaking English, and there's Google Translate, which is my new best friend. You get by. Like,
yeah,
it's hard, especially one thing is, once again, personal experience. My husband and I, we are not working in a job industry in Israel. So for someone who needs Hebrew, I advise them to do some Hebrew. Learn Hebrew. There's so many. What's amazing is there's a lot of groups, especially in Haifa, that we've noticed that they'll put up on Facebook, hi, if anyone wants to learn Hebrew and learn English, let's chat, let's connect. So
yeah,
there's opportunities that are endless. The
yeah.
opportunities are endless completely.
Yeah, and Hannes de Kock is, yeah, he's an absolute master of weapons. I mean, I think if Israel was taking in Yeah, no. He'll be on the show another time, and we'll discuss all his Magodis. He's quite the specialist. Um, yeah. So I think thank you very much. We're gonna run like sort of. I know it's very hot there, and I want you to get your fan back on. But yeah, I think we should have you. No. I think I. No, you look gorgeous as always. And I think intrinsically, I think South Africans would thrive in Israel because we are so outspoken. We and I think you've proven that you've done it. And I'm so proud. When I phoned you, I think 3 months in, I said, "How's it going?" You went, "How's it? It's cool, la la la." And I was like, I'm really proud of you and your C. So please give him a big hug from me. And yeah, thank you for joining me. Yeah.
You're welcome. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to say, there's a lot of people that have those fears that South Africa is so different to Israel. There's a lot of luxuries in South Africa. There's 2 cars, there's 2 incomes, there's big gardens, there's big homes, there's swimming pools, there's domestic workers that we're very lucky. A lot of people have reached out to me and said, like, how do they give up those luxuries?
Okay.
You get other luxuries here. You really get other luxuries. And follow my YouTube channel, obviously, and we'll get into that about street shopping. But if anyone has questions, just like, don't be afraid to ask. It's kind of, that's the biggest thing. And yeah, Ruthie, maybe you'll join us. There's a Ruthie
Sure.
UK. You want to come? And
No, listen. It's something. I mean, my son keeps saying, Nate, we got to get into the Hebrew. We got to start. He's like, yeah, but you always say we're going to go and we never go. But so yes, follow Justine Montrose on her YouTube channel. Yeah, we'll add the link to the stream afterwards. But thank you for your time, and you're looking fantastic as always. And I'm really happy for you guys, and I wish you all the best.
you and this awesome channel, and everyone, please give it a good big thumbs up and subscribe to Rebellious Ruth. She's like me. We don't hold things back, so follow it. I'm sure she's going to have a lot more interesting things than me talking about Aliyah. But Ruthie, it's always good. It's always good to catch up.
Amen. And good luck for the new year. Shana Tova. Can you believe it? We're in a new year.
Shana Tova. Let's hope that it's a healthy year. Healthy.
Healthy, and yeah, full of good blessings. All right, Angel. All right, bye everybody. TTFN. Just stay on for a sec. Bye everybody.